Okay, so today we're going to learn how to draw Texas, one of the most challenging states in the continental U.S. to get right. All right, most Texans don't even know how to draw a good Texas, but as seventh graders today, you're going to master it, guaranteed. All right, most important thing we're going to do today is this first line, okay? The great news is it's impossible to mess up. Doesn't matter how big or how small you make it, it's impossible to mess up the first part of this, okay? So you're going to draw your northern panhandle boundary. We're going to call it X, okay? And the way we're going to accurately draw Texas is by using proportions. I know that's like a math word, but it's actually the most or the best way we can actually draw it today. And so make sure to draw this line. Doesn't matter how big, how small. Just get your northern boundary up. Next, we're going to draw the eastern panhandle boundary, okay? It's the same size of the first line that you drew, okay? That's why we also put an X right there. So just your eastern boundary is the same size as your northern boundary. Two lines, same length. Next, we're going to draw our western boundary, our western panhandle boundary. Okay, it's 2x. That means it's twice the length of x. Okay, so take x and just kind of, okay, it's about double that size. And draw that western boundary. It goes from north to south. Okay, straight lines, people. So far, we are doing great. Next one, we're going to draw the western southern end of the panhandle, okay? This is 1.5x, okay? It's not quite 2x, but it's more than 1x. It's 1.5x. So take it and then kind of half x and add that on top, all right? And this is a straight line going from east to west. Our next line we have, this is a challenging one, okay? This is our Red River boundary. Okay, you see the squiggly lines? Whenever it's a squiggly line border, that usually means that it's the border is actually a river. Okay, now I don't want you to worry about all the squigglies right now. Pretend it's a straight line. Okay, hold on. Pretend it's a straight line. All right. Now the length of this line is 2x, so roughly the same size as our western panhandle boundary, okay? I want you to draw like a very faint line, okay? Straight line going straight out all the way out here, okay? Now just go a couple notches below that and draw a little dot, okay? Now you can actually fill in with your little like river squiggles, okay? Just remember the length of this river or this part of the border needs to be about 2x, okay? I'll give you some more instructions on where exactly to put it on the next slide. Okay, now we're going to draw a part of our eastern border. Okay, this is the easy part. All right, it's the our part of the border that we share with Arkansas and Louisiana. Okay, it's a straight line. Okay, so you take it from the top of your Red River boundary, and you're going to draw it. And where do you stop? It's about the exact, like you're about level with where. Sorry. You're level with this line right here. So just kind of draw an imaginary line, fill this part out, boom. This is where your straight line ends. Okay. Next part. The more complicated part of the eastern boundary. This is the Sabine River. See how we start off with the squiggles? Okay. So we know it's a river. It's a slight arc to the east. It kind of jets out right here. This is X, so it's about the same length as what you drew up at the for your northern panhandle. All right, moving on. Now we're going to draw the coastal boundary of Texas. This is a tough one, okay? And this is where this isn't our. These aren't river squiggles. This is Gulf of Mexico, like ocean squiggles. Okay. Um, what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna come back up here to our Red River boundary. We're gonna go about halfway to this line. Okay, so find about the midway point and kind of draw like a very faint dotted line. All right. And I want you to kind of take it down to about this point. This is where you need to, like, this point is where your arc needs to come in and hit. Okay. So as you can see, it's not a straight boom over here and then down. All right. We are like arcing this way. All right. More instructions to come. Next, we're going to draw our southern border of the Rio Grande River, okay? This one isn't quite as squiggly as our other ones, but this is also a river boundary. This is the Rio Grande River. It starts all the way up here, actually, comes all the way down and funnels into the Gulf of Mexico down here. The way we're going to draw this is we're going to actually imagine this as a square, okay? See where my mouse is highlighting? We're going to imagine this as a square. Kind of fill that in if you have to, faintly with your pencil. All right? Now you're going to cut that square in half diagonally. Now that point, like this little tip that I'm highlighting right here, this is where you're going to end up with this part of your river boundary, okay? Now it's going to be up to you to kind of fill in this little curve that we see, okay? You can't just draw a straight line cutting the square, all right? It's kind of your job to fill in the squiggles as necessary, okay? When it's all said and done, it should be about a little lower than your lowest point of the eastern border, okay? So if this point ended up way up here above your eastern border, then it's no good, okay? Something's off. Your proportions are incorrect, okay? So make sure that this part of the western edge of the panhandle is below the eastern part, the eastern border. Okay. Next, where are we going to take it back up to? Okay, we have to go back up. Now draw a line, like a faint line, about halfway down your northern panhandle border. Okay, and this is where you need to hit. This is like your last. This is your point where you are going to start going south down the Rio Grande River. Sorry. Your point where you're going to start going south down the Rio Grande River. This is our last reference point that we have, okay? And now from there we can just kind of go down at a downward angle until we hit the our southern tip. Now realize that this part's kind of confusing. It might take a little erasing and trial and error, but just keep working at it. And at the end of this, you should have the formula for a very accurate depiction of the state of Texas. All right, hope this helps.